I want to show you a good way to master your scales, and I'm going to show it on the in position scale shapes. You can use this also for 3-note per string scales, and you can also apply this concept to other scales other than the major scale, like the pentatonics, or any variation like melodic minor, anything like that. And the idea is just that we're going to cover all 7 shapes of this scale, going alternating, going up one, shifting position, going down the next, up the next, down the next, and when we get up all the way to the it'll be the 8th shape that we're playing, but it'll be repeating the first shape an octave up. Then we're going to go down, because that's where we're at in the pattern. Then we'll go back up and reverse the whole pattern going all the way down. So you're going to get a repetition on each of these positions, going both up and down. So I like this a little better than just going up and down each shape in a static position and then shifting up. I think it's, I don't know, I think it's more useful. And so I just want to show you how I do this, and I adjust slightly the shapes so that I can get it in time, in 4/4 time, so that it creates like a rhythmic loop that's musical and interesting and doesn't have an odd amount of beats. So I do that by just omitting the top note of each pattern. So I shift, and instead of when I go up the first shape, I'm going to go all the way to the top note of that pattern, but when I shift, I'm not actually going to shift to the next note, which would be the top note of the second pattern. I'm just going to stay on this note. I'm going to go back down from that note all the way down, and then I shift up when I get to the bottom, and you'll kind of see how this works out when I demonstrate it. I'm going to demonstrate it with the metronome all the way up and down, and then I'll talk about some of the specific things you need to know in order to practice this in all 12 keys, which you will want to do if you want to be proficient with your major scales, which you should want to be proficient in if you want to be able to play over all kinds of music. So turn on the metronome and show you how I do this. So I'm going to do 8th notes at this tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one key, and I chose the key of G to demonstrate this in because G is a key that you can play all the way up, all 7 shapes up to the first shape again, an octave up without shifting your position. So that's useful for demonstration purposes. I would like to show you a couple of things. I'll show you how to do it for a key that's less, that you end up having to shift in just a moment, but I just wanted to note a couple of things. Like I said before, when I'm going up, I play the full shape going up, and then when I hit the top note of shape 1, I'm gonna shift my fingers in any of these positions. Sometimes I don't have to actually, like here, I don't really have to shift on that note, but when I'm coming down, I'm moving my position from here to here. so that I can reach all those notes in this second position. And then I go all the way to the bottom of that shape. I slide up to the third shape. I'm just simply going up the third shape. And then here, I think about this note as being the second to highest note of the next shape that I'm moving up to. Get to the bottom of that, I shift up, I'm in shape 5. And now I think about that note being the second to highest note of shape 6. I shift up to shape 7. And that I think about being my shift note to the second highest note of shape 1 again, just an octave up. When I hit the bottom of shape 1 again, I'm going to repeat this note to set my rhythm right. And just like I did before, I'm going to only play up to the second to highest note, and then I'm going to shift back to shape 7. And then when I reach the lowest note, I'm going to shift back to the shape 6. And second to highest note brings me to my shift back to shape 5. And the lowest note brings me to shift into shape 4. Second highest note of that shape, I shift back to shape 3. And then at the lowest note, I shift back to shape 2. Second highest note of shape 2, I shift back and I'm in shape 1 again. And at the end, I added this note here so that I could land on beat 1 on G and then play my G chord. So that's the basic idea. And like I said, this creates, and like you probably noticed, it creates a simple rhythmic pattern that lands evenly at the beginning and end of each shape, and that's why I was omitting that, that top note on each of these shifts. So one of the things that you're going to want to do in order to master these is to play it in different keys, ideally all 12 keys. You don't have to do all 12 keys every day, but if you're a go-getter, you might want to do that in order to master them quicker. But you could also cycle through doing 2 or 3 keys per day and just keeping a little notepad and writing down, okay, I did G and then I did C, you know, and go around the circle of fourths in the course of a week or two. And that would be a good way to touch all the different keys and get used to the different ways that they feel on the neck. So if I take a key like C, where my C on the 6th string is here, and I want to start at shape 1. You don't always have to start at shape 1. It just sounds really nice and resolved. You could start, there's 2 ways you could do this. You could start either at shape 1 and do exactly like I did, and then you have a shift in the middle of the pattern. Or you could start at the lowest possible shape in that key. In this case, it'd be the shape starting on F, which would be shape 4 for C. I'm not going to cover that because it's a little bit more confusing, but you can probably figure that out if you want to do it that way. But I think that doing it this way, where you're starting at shape 1 always, is best when you're first starting to learn these. So I just went up shape 1, down shape 2, and here I'm at shape 3. And I'm just going to kind of pause here. So I've now reached a point where I'm above the 12th fret for all of my notes. So when I go to shape 4, I could very easily stay up here because there's still plenty of room in my neck. So I'm going to do shape 4 here. But here, I don't want to, I want to shift down at some point. And so instead of going from this F and shifting into shape 5 here, I'm actually going to go all the way down to G here instead of the G here. So I'm on F, and instead of shifting up into shape 5, I'm going to shift down almost an octave. That'd be a minor 7th. And then I would continue my pattern on shape 5. And then I could continue the full pattern all the way up back to shape 1. Whoops. And then, like I did before on the G, I would just start back over and go back up shape 1, shape 7, shape 6, shape 5. And here, I'm going to do the reverse of what I did before, and I'm going to slide up to F up here. Shape 3. So just to kind of recap, I went up shape 1, down shape 2, up shape 3, down shape 4, and then at the bottom of shape 4, I'll just go back down one more time to show that transition again. I just slid down, and that might be a difficult slide for you. You could practice doing a slide like that to get more accuracy. But those are useful things to be able to do because you can really get outside of specific positions if you can slide really accurately, and I find it really fun and a cool sound to be able to go from like something like that. I like to do that in my solos just to create kind of a neat sliding sound. But anyway, so then I would continue up shape 5, down shape 6, up shape 7, down shape 1 again, repeat that note on the C, starting the 1, go back up shape 1, and then do my opposite pattern. When I came down, be and right there I would slide up to that F and continue my pattern all the way back down. So just like we did for C there, you would do the same thing for any key. So what you could do is just locate the lowest possible. Well, you could locate the shape 1 for any key, which is going to start from the root note. And then if you have enough space for most of the keys, like even like F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, even into like B flat would be kind of the highest key that you could actually go all the way from this B flat here and go all the way up and not have to shift positions. But once you get to B, you're going to have to shift positions down at some point. So any shape that you end up beyond the 12th fret with all of your notes, you just shift back down. So that's the idea. This is a great useful exercise for mastering your scales. If you'd like a visual aid, you can go to my website, practicemakesbettermusic.com, if you're not already there, and go to the diagrams tab, and under the scales, in the drop-down menu, if you click on scales, I have scale diagrams for all of the 12 keys of the in position and the 3-note per string scale pattern. So if you were going to apply this to 3-note per string scales, just find a way like I did to make it in a closed rhythmic loop that fits into 4/4 time, or you can also do different time signatures. But it's best to practice these in a rhythmic loop, so you're not coming into different shapes at weird timings where you're just kind of playing not out of time but playing out of meter. So that's my suggestion. I think this will be a good one to help, a good exercise to help you master these scales. So let me know if you found this helpful, and keep your eyes out for more videos and lessons coming soon.